Okay, well, my name's Vera. We're here in La Mauricie. We are in Saint-Léon-les-Grains. We're in Zone 4B, and we've been here for almost 6 years.
Yeah, and my name is Yvan Lavoie, French Quebecer typically. And I was living in Montreal for a long time. And Vera has been had a project of having a farm for a very long time. She didn't have a partner. I guess she thought like, oh, I'll go in Montreal and find someone. So that's what she did. She found me. Happily, we fit together well. And then we developed this project and visited some region, and we kind of settled on this region. It's very nice and attractive. We visited many places, but when we saw like this place was kind of remote, and we saw it in November, we couldn't see the land, but we just felt that, oh, if we lose this house and this whole land, we're gonna be very sorry. So we bid and we had it. So started the project.
Several years.
Yeah, a few years. We visited many houses. It's all imperfect, and you're all thinking, it's not so good. It's hard to find a land. It's hard. But we were quite extremely lucky. That was before COVID. The price were still like super, affordable, and but it does become kind of more difficult nowadays, I guess. But if you have your land, well.
And for us, our criteria when we were looking for a property, the most important thing for us was access to water. And we are surrounded by water on all sides. So we have a river and that borders our property. And we dug a pond for swimming, and we have several swim spots now.
Right.
We had a water mill and a grain mill on the property that don't exist anymore, but they were here. And endless generations of agricultural projects. And so when we arrived, it was kind of en friche everywhere. And
A big of a junkyard everywhere, like old material, collapsed barns, collapsed everything. Some people, other people wanted to buy the house, wanted to take it down and rebuild all anew because it was just nothing. There was nothing to do with this house. But I kind of like old houses. It would have been a shame.
Yeah, and we saw where some people saw a junkyard, we saw potential.
Well, I think we're both really critic of the world today, vision of what's life and the place of man in this thing, and everybody is kind of aware that we are running into big catastrophe because our way of living is just not sustainable, doesn't make sense. And to me, it's like the stories you tell yourself about what you are in the world will have a huge impact on your perception and your behaviors. So we kind of had a different story, and in the story is very central to be really close to the environment where you live in, to have a contact with nature, because this our true nature, who you really are. You're not, there's this illusion about a person that we exist separated from the rest. This is an illusion. We are part of the whole. And so for me, it was really important to go back to this contact of nature at this point, and Vera too. But there's something tremendously wrong about the modern civilization that believes that it can live outside of nature, and fight against nature. We have to be in communion. That's where you get your joy. That's where you get your inner peace, and it's the only really thing that will bring back any kind of solution, is go back to a closer relation with nature.
Yeah, we have a few commercial crops that we cultivate for a revenue, but it's not our principal revenue. So up until this spring, I was working as an organic inspector, and now I'm just doing the farm full time. And Yvan works 1 day a week doing deliveries to the city. So we're able to sell some of our produce in the city on that same trip. We're definitely limited. We couldn't grow the full variety of things you see in Southern Ontario or even in Montreal. So what we do have, I mean, we are able to grow fruit trees, but not like peaches or nectarines. But we do have now apples and we have wild plums. So there's a huge potential of varieties of stuff we can grow.
And if you look at the land, here is kind of almost a microclimate because you have a south-facing hill surrounded by buildings that are used as wind protection. So like the garden behind you is like it's super nice and easy to grow here because yeah, we're kind of a remote little valley and
even compared to our neighbors, we actually have at least a week advance to them because of our tiny little microclimate.
Yeah, so I guess it's good to see, you know, we kind of saw like this valley and the thing around, so it was really a good point for us to get this place.
In our first year, the first thing that we did when we arrived was build or hire someone to come and put in a septic tank and a field. And the septic field in the spring was this big mound of bare soil that was a real eyesore. And so we transformed that into basically the only thing that it can be, which is a flower garden. But we did that with a pattern that looks like a yin-yang. So maybe we'll have a look at it after. But that's our pollinator garden, and it's right between our orchard and our annual garden just behind the house. So it attracts all of the pollinators and brings a lot of the birds and the things that we love to look at anyways. So there's definitely a place for art, even in gardening.
I like to garden and weed. I don't mind. I can go into weeding, but Vera is more planning the garden. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I let it up to her, and maybe I should get involved more, but I feel it's her thing.
Well, my main revenue source now is the annual gardens, and so the orchard it's not mature yet. It's not producing. We are just seeing our first apples now, and that's going to take some time before it actually is fruitful. And so in the meanwhile, we have our annual gardens running, and we have a commercial production of garlic and asparagus, and we do small fruits. We have 7,000 raspberry canes and a lot of strawberries. And so some of it's just for fun because I do like that, but it does make a difference and it makes sense. I'd rather go work in the garden than sit in front of my computer. Absolutely, being exposed to a lot of different types of production. There's definitely no one way of gardening, so it's neat to go and see all the different styles that people are doing, and it's inspiring and it helps build the community that we're looking for. So in many ways, it was a very, very rewarding job, and I really enjoyed it right to the end. But our time is so limited, there's so much to do here, that at some point it became a choice where I want to put my time, and it really is investing in my own project. I think I've sort of seen enough of what's out there that now I know what I want, and it's just the time to do it.
And you stick to low-cost living. We did have some money to buy like the house, but and one thing she was saying about her job, it's like she made like tremendous contacts. Like she has so many contacts with everybody around. She knows everyone because of her job. Like, so it helps. It's very helpful. Like for many stuff, you go and you ask, oh, you ask this guy knows this guy knows this. So it was a good.
It was great. Yeah. Stefan is my main inspiration. His orchard is amazing. If you don't know it, you need to have a look. And what we have here is a minuscule copy of what he's got going, but it is so satisfying. It doesn't need to be big to be great. And one of the greatest things that Stefan told me is the hardest part of any project is just starting. And I can get really caught up in the whole planning process, and I can think and rethink and be there forever. And then once you just get out and just start, it is so satisfying. So now we have 8 trios, and so it's nothing, but each fruit tree produces so much fruit that it's going to be very quickly, it's going to outgrow our capacity to eat that ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great to eat fruits. And then we have strawberry. Before the strawberry ends, we have raspberry starting. We have camrys and the blueberries. So there's always, in the summer, there's always like, then you have the beans, and then you have like, there's always something to eat.
Our main motivation really is self-sufficiency and more of a homestead goal.
Yeah. And in our vision in implanting our project, we don't even have focus only on our needs. Like it's the needs of the bird and the other animal with who we share the land is important too. Like we need to make habitat not only for ourselves, but for everything that's living around us. And sometimes you have to, accept that you need some weed. Like you cannot just cut everything down because birds do like some weed here and there. So we have to share, like we live with other species, and it's important for us to build something that's good for all the living creature around us too. So we're not here like a bulldozer erasing everything just for all our own needs. We are being aware of everything that's alive. The birds, the animals too have their place here.
Just try.
Yeah.
Just try.
Start it.
The worst you can do is fail and you try again, but you won't get anywhere if you don't try. You said these would be questions that you don't need to prepare for.
Yeah, no.
Judging by my haircut, you can probably tell I don't really care what people think.
I did the haircut. You like my skills with the zzz.